Welcome on in, everybody. It is MVP, the Mo Vaughn podcast, powered by Perfect Game and the Vaughn Sports Academy. We're coming to you live here from the American Specialty Insurance Tent. Mo, what a scene this is, dude. This is crazy.
We got lawnmowers going. The rain is, rain may be rocking. We are baseball. I'll tell you, when I got down here to Florida just a couple 3 years ago, I came up here for the first time baseball wise, and this was my first experience. So to be here, we got our podcast here now talking baseball with this guy we're going to introduce in a minute. This is just unbelievable. This is all baseball, all what guys like Gary and I want to be involved with. We're at the pinnacle right now, so this is great. We're up in Jupiter at Roger Dean.
Yeah, the WWBA. This is absolutely crazy. Gary Sheffield joining us here on the podcast. Gary, thanks so much for the time. We really appreciate it.
Hey, it's my honor to be here, man. It's always good to see Big Mo, MVP, big time hitting balls off the scoreboard. Anytime I could be in his presence, man. It's a pleasure.
Well, can we start off, guys? What is it being at a tournament like this, WWBA? Like you guys have been the highest of highs, but what is it like? You see guys chasing their dreams, your kids, the kids you're coaching. This has to be a pretty cool experience for you.
It is as a father, man. I'm jealous. We didn't have none of this. I'm looking at this stuff, and it's like, you guys getting big league treatment already.
Yeah.
And so now, like, what can you do after this, when you're a kid? The only thing I can compare this to is the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, when I was 11 and 12 years old. We had a lot of fans there. We got this experience. But this is amazing, man. This gives all of these kids an opportunity to go out here and show your talents, to get better at the same time.
And play against the best.
And play against the best. And that's what you want. You want to play against the best.
Well, Gary, yeah, go ahead, bro.
Gary, we were just sitting here talking about just being dads and fathers and coaches. Like, I'm gonna be 58 in December. I don't know if you've had a birthday, but isn't it great to be sitting here trying to give? I'm playing against guys, but I'm also coaching other guys. I'm trying to help any way I can to get people who are really serious. The education of our game and what we know.
Yes.
And we know things that most don't.
Right.
But it's such a joy to be here and be around all these, and you see them, you see the swings, the lefty, the slides, the guys that get through the ball, and you go, we can point that guy's real.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's just a lot of fun. And now you sitting here is great.
Yeah, I got a birthday on November 18th. I'll be 57. So it's just always to be, actually for me, this is an honor to be a father. That's number one. And the fact that my kids took up baseball out because of me. I didn't force the game on them. I didn't push it on them. But like I said before, the thing is that at our age, I grew up watching the game and not even watching it. I used my imagination by radio.
Right.
And I learned the game through radio. And that's when the announcers was talking, you use your imagination to what he was saying, how he was, pinpointing the game. The ball is thrown here. The ball is hit here. The guy did this, the guy did that.
Right.
And you start using your imagination. Then when you start playing, then it all comes to fruition. And then now you start seeing. And so that's where your IQ comes from.
Right.
And so if you start out being a student of the game will come to you. Everything will slow down a lot faster than most.
Gary, give me a little bit of inventory about your sons. Where is everybody at? I think you got one at Florida State.
Yes.
Right? How is that going? How's everything going?
It's going as planned. He was going to get drafted by the Cubs because the draft is different now. They want to know you have to agree to the money first before they draft you. And I told him, I had a set number for him that for you to forego school, it has to be a real number.
Right.
And if it's not a real number, go to school to get bigger, faster, stronger, and develop there, opposed to going to a rookie ball with no money and then hope you make it and then you have no school.
Right.
So the plan went well. He played well when he played against Auburn. He had a monster game. He got some at-bats. He got the experience. He played a whole full year of summer ball. So now he's primed and ready to go in the starting lineup now. For as my oldest son, he just graduated from Georgetown. He's going to law school to Harvard or Yale or NYU. And right now, that's his trajectory.
So he could manage
Yes,
the situation, when it's time.
that's right.
So
And
they
they
got everything covered.
everything covered, but we cover education first.
Yep.
And then my youngest son, he's at Jesuit High School. They went to state last year and lost, just like no other loss when he was in 11th grade. Then came back and won as a 12th grader.
Right.
So that's the plan for Christian.
Okay.
But Christian wants to go to school next to his brother where he can play right away.
Nice.
So we're looking at FAMU. We're looking at a lot of other options where he can go play right away. Then he can ease on over to Florida State or wherever else.
Do all the sons do the famous bat and snap? That's not doing the thing. Everybody was excited to see that. Like, oh man, nobody's mastered that since Gary himself.
Yeah, only one.
Tell me how did the bat waggle start? And I want you to tell everybody what the reason are, but I know what the reasons were.
Yeah.
But tell me how it started and how that became a time mechanism.
Well, when I saw Julio Franco, he's wrapped the bat around his back ear and then he's pointed at the pitcher. I thought that was so bad. I said, man, how can he get the bat to the ball? And then when I saw him swing, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that guy is dangerous. And I wanted to be a dangerous guy. I didn't just want to be a baseball player and people say, oh, he just played baseball. I wanted to be dangerous. And when I saw that, I saw it wiggling the bat. I used to hit like that in high school. And then when I got to the rookie ball, I'd never used a wood bat in my life. And I kept yanking balls foul because I didn't want to get jammed. And I lost about 3 or 4 home runs the first 3 days. So I got in bat practice the next day and I started doing it. And I said, I'm gonna hit every ball to right center. I hit 10 balls out in a row. I've never done that in my life. And I said, I'm taking this in the game. I wound up hitting 2 home runs in the game and I never stopped doing it. But the only time I stopped doing it is when I got to the big leagues and they tried to stop me from wiggling the bat because they felt like I wasn't strong enough to do it. And I suffered for it for about 3 years. And I said, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out my way. And it came back.
Well, I also think that that bat, he could turn around anybody's fastball. So I think that also with that waggle it came the timing, whap, whap, whap,
Yeah.
and it kept him linear,
Yes.
straight to the pitcher.
Yes.
But you couldn't throw a fastball far. You couldn't shoot a 38 pellet knife. That's how fast and quick he was.
Well, I want to ask you because Mo, you've talked about like you wanted to go up there, intimidate. Like there is kind of like an aura to it too. Like you knew like they saw the bat wag up there. Like was there a mental thing to it too? Like it just you wanted that to get into their head.
Before he answers, let's just say he was probably the most feared one in our game in our time. There are guys that were bigger and stronger.
Yes.
But the actual getting the bat to the zone, nobody did it, and you were like, "Yo, y'all better be ready because if he's here to with bad intentions. He had bad intentions every time he's wanted back. It was great.
I'm glad you said that, Mo, because this is what I try to tell my kids. I wasn't the biggest, the fastest, or strongest. I always wanted to be the most consistent. I couldn't hit a ball far as you. I couldn't hit a ball farther than Darryl Strawberry. I couldn't hit a ball farther than Mark McGuire. I knew I couldn't do that. But I knew if I put the proper swing on the pitch every single time, I give myself a chance to hit the ball out the park, whether it went 2 rows over or 10 rows over. And so I try to teach my kids, don't let size intimidate you when you walk up. Just be that pure hitter. The power comes last. And when the power comes and you know how to hit and they don't with the power, then you're going to last the longest.
Right, exactly.
One of the things that was crazy, Gary, I watched you down here. I was a Marlins fan. So, like, you literally were one of the guys who made me fall in love with the game.
Yeah.
But I was, as a kid, I didn't realize when you came from the Padres, you won the batting title.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's my biggest flex in baseball. I did it with Tony Gwynn.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like, did you always?
Yeah.
That's because it is one of those things where, like, you were feared and everybody knew the power, but like the art of hitting, like, did you feel like that? Does that overlooked in your game?
It is. I think so. But see, that came in 1992.
Uh-huh.
Tony Gwynn told me about me. He taught me about me. He said, you can just step on a baseball field and barrel a ball up. But I want you to understand how you do it and why you do it. And basically, I'm looking at how you know me better than me.
Right.
But he knew me better than me. And
That's
he
that
said,
sight we got.
that's right. And he took that job of being that mentor to me to say, I'm going to make you great. And I knew that I wanted to be great. I just didn't know how. And when he gave me that in that cage, the first day I got to the Padres, and we went in that cage and we worked, and then we made a wolf pack. We're not striking out. That's the first thing he told me. We're not striking out. And I said, I don't strike out anyway. He said, no. You're going to hit for power, average, drive-in runs, and not strike out. And if you go back and look at 1992, me and Tony Gwynn combined with 1,200 plate appearances. He struck out 17 times. I struck out 35 to 40 times with 33 home runs.
And with that batting touch. Let's go back a little bit. You were just talking that I think is important that, everybody will want. 1980, you take the Belmont Heights Little League to the national championship.
Yes.
Give me a little bit of that. And then also I want you to answer some. We all being in Little League, we're like so enamored with Chinese Taiwan Taipei.
Yes.
You got to play against them. Tell me what that was like.
It was intimidating at first because I never met a foreigner before.
Right.
And when we wiped the floor with our state, regions, all of that, and we're thinking, we're untouchable.
Right.
But then we saw them, and we saw them take batting practice.
Yeah.
All the way through their lineup, they're hitting balls a lot farther than us. They're throwing harder than us. They're filling ground balls better than us. We watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
But we had inside, they're not going to beat us. We don't care what. We wasn't backing down. And that was the experience that told me and taught me. And I realized that was the stepping stone for my career later, because nobody can make us back down no matter what I see. And I knew we made one mistake, I think we made, because I had to pitch the game to get us to the last game.
Yeah, nothing left.
But I wanted to be that pitcher against them.
Right.
So as you saw, I was the catcher.
Right.
So that's my only thing that I wish I would have got the experience to do.
So that's the thing, you and I sit and talk about, like this tournament, the WWBA. And I always say, guys like Gary had that experience at 12 years old.
Yes.
That we're all trying to get our sons to get through, 13, 14, 15. He had it at 12.
Yes.
And he was never intimidated from that. And then you go 1986, you're the Gatorade Player of the Year in high school.
Yes.
So I'm sure all these events propelled you to those situations.
See, I tell people all the time when I see these young phenoms, I say I was anointed for that position. My uncle's Dwight Gooden. That's my mom's little brother. He raised me that way. He raised me tough. He raised me facing fastballs and hitting ground balls harder than most. I had to catch him. So I was taught all of these things. And the day I got to Hillsborough High School to win that award, Darryl Strawberry came to see me play. Eric Davis came to see me play. Imagine the pressure that I had on me. But my uncle prepared me mentally. Just when those guys come around, they come to see a show. Right. And so every time I stepped on the field, that year, I hit 500 with 15 home runs and 30 RBIs in 20 games, and I didn't strike out one time. And I had an 8-1 record.
That's that pedigree,
You see? And so the reason I mention that is because I wasn't chasing money. I was chasing the dream. And the money would come. And so this is what I tell everybody. Chase your dream. Have a love of the game. And if you love the game will love you back.
Was there ever a chance it wasn't going to be baseball? Because I thought I read that you almost went to the Hurricanes. You almost went to football.
I did. I'll tell you the story. Jimmy Johnson was the head football coach. Joe Frazier was the baseball coach. And my teammate from Belmont Heights Little Leagues on that World Series team was Maurice Crum. He was the linebacker, number 49. And when I got there, because the Milwaukee Brewers wasn't going to give me the money that I was asking for, and so I went to campus. And I said, I'm playing football and baseball. And Mr. Frazier says, I don't think you want to play football. I said, well, with those guys, I'm going to be the most dominant running back of all time. And he said, okay, I'm going to take you over to a practice. They had 16 fights in that practice. I said, I'm going to play baseball.
Yeah, man. Just a total athlete.
Yeah.
Let's get into I want to talk some numbers because I think everybody out there in the audience today needs to understand who and what we're talking to and what type of player and guy this guy Gary is. We got a lifetime 292 batting average, 2,689 hits, 509 HRs, 1,676 RBIs. We are talking to a 9-time All-Star, a 5-time Silver Slugger, a world champion in 1997, an AL batting champion in 1997.
92.
92.
Yep.
8 seasons, or 30 or more HRs, and 30 HRs for 5 different teams, which is a major league record. Let's just say it. This guy is a Hall of Famer.
100%.
Period. Let's just call it what it is. Everybody stop the garbage, stop all the hurt feelings, stop all the stuff. We read the numbers. This guy is a Hall of Fame in the numbers, and just ask his peers, was he one of the most dominant or the most dominant right-handed hitter in our time? And everybody's going to say yes. This guy's a Hall of Fame. Talk about it.
Yeah, but I want to say this first and foremost. I know how guys feel about steroids, and I know how I felt about it. But I want to say to all my peers, I wasn't on that list. I'm not that guy. I'm never going to be that guy. I'm not that guy. I let people talk the way they want to talk and believe what they want to believe. But if you go back and you look, when I went to that grand jury for Barry Bonds, I went there as a witness.
Right.
I wasn't a suspect. So you don't come a witness to a suspect. So this is what I want to put out there. And anybody want to go do anything and ask me anything, I'll be the first one to tell you that wasn't me.
Right.
And I know I did it the right way. And when somebody, these writers, it comes down to writers. That's what this comes down to.
And this is what I'm saying. And I was thinking about this today. You and I both have tremendous respect for the past.
Yes.
We know we know Johnny Bench and Steve Carlin and Mike Schmidt and Larry Bow and all these guys. We love that era. That's what we wanted to be.
Right.
We're not telling you that we're better, but we need to be at the table, our guys in our era. But you got the numbers, bro.
I know.
You got the numbers, and you know you did it right if you were consistent. It's not like one year you went out and hit 15 and then you hit 40.
Right.
You was averaging 30, 35, 40, 36, 32 your entire career.
Yes.
Very much consistent. So everybody stop being personal.
Yeah.
Stop taking it out on guys for whatever reason and get the guys in that deserve it.
Yes.
And this guy, Gary Sheffield, deserves it.
But here's the deal. Everybody that meets me that come with respect always get respect. And they'll say, you're not like what we thought you was. I said, well, what you thought I was, because of what the media said I was. But see, the media always wanted to paint me out to be a bad guy, because if you didn't come to me with respect, I didn't give you none.
Right.
But if you came to me with respect, I respect all people, because that's how I was raised.
Listen, I played in Boston.
Yes.
I wasn't taking no trash from nobody.
From nobody.
That's just the way that it was.
Yes.
And I don't think anybody who does that should have to.
Yes.
Call it what it is. You treat me respectfully, I'm going to treat you respectfully. And I just think that that's important. But this guy needs to be there.
Gary, can you kind of take us through, like, with the Hall of Fame, what was your mindset when it first didn't go through? I mean, like, what hurt did you go through for it? Did you and then was there a point of where, like, all right, it is what it is, you had to make peace with it? Or if you still not made peace with it, like, where were you then when you first found out, and where are you now with it?
Well, I'll tell you, I was excited the first time, and I was that guy that says, oh, I'm better than 90% of them that's in it. So I was that guy. That's where the anger came from. I'm better than 90% of the guys in it, but I'm not going to do that. That's disrespectful. I'm not going to disrespect anybody that's in there. They deserve to be in there. I went through that phase. But then after the second time I didn't get in, no big deal. I know what this is. This is a media thing. This is their way of getting back at me after 22 years of playing baseball. They couldn't beat me when I was playing. They can beat me when I'm not playing. Right. And so after so many years, I talked to Fred McGriff for so many years, campaigning for him. And I wasn't even in it. I was campaigning for him. And then when he finally got in it and he went through what he went through, then if he can go through it, I can go through it. Right. And then when I got down to my last and final year, and when MLB and Harold Reynolds came to my house to speak to me, and they said I was tracking that I was going to be in it, my family wouldn't let me give up on this dream. And all of a sudden, I got excited again. And when it didn't happen, I knew this is personal. But if that's the way baseball is going to operate their business and let things get personal with the writers to dictate the work that we put in, shame on baseball.
And I agree 100%. I think there's going to be some type of executive committee. You're too good of a player. You've done too much. You've affected. I mean, look at the teams you played. LA, Detroit, New York, Atlanta. That's just all major teams. You backed up guys like Chipper Jones, who are in the Fall Hall of Fame. He hit, in front of you.
Yes.
Talk about that. I talk about that all the time. I had Canseco on the other day, and I thanked him. I said, Jose, man, I got a lot of those pitches because you were sitting there. Yeah, we had to do something to it.
Yeah.
But great players need other great players. And we should never underestimate how important the fourth hitter is, the guy getting the pitches and guys covering guys. And he did that for a lot of different players and a lot of different teams when he could have been the guy easily.
Well, I'll say this to that. There's even different level to that. I never worried about who hit behind me. And I knew it was important, but some people don't even look at it that way. And that's me. Right. I was a guy when I played with Chipper Jones, I walked 168 times with Chipper Jones hitting behind me. So I'm telling people, you can call it what you want. I played with A-Rod. He was trying to hit third for the Yankees in 2004. That didn't work out for us. They had to move me to third.
Right.
Because I keep telling people, you can have a lot of heroes. You can think guys are better than other guys. But when you put a bat in my hand, I don't care who you put next to me. We different.
Yeah.
And so I don't back down from who I am and what I stand for. And if you don't want to tell my story, I'll tell it myself.
Not to mention best player on the champion.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That's the facts. Like, that team was loaded.
Thank you.
Boy, say salute, Bobby Bo. This was the guy.
But you know what about that team? We wouldn't have never won a playoff game without Darren Dalton. Darren Dalton was the guy that came to our team and glued us together and taught us about leadership, what one goal in mind means to a team. Everybody has to be on the same page. You don't have to like everybody. You don't have to get along with everybody.
1,000.
But one thing, when we show up at this park, you better be ready to win.
Talk a little bit about Dutch. There's a great aura about him. Playing in Phillies. You know that whole New York, Boston, Philadelphia. We're a little bit of a pressure cooker. Yeah. What is a guy like that when he came down to Miami to put you guys together? How was he? I hear so much about him.
Well, first when he came, I didn't like him because he had a fight with my uncle on the field. My uncle drilled him. They had a fight. But when I got to meet him after 3 days,
like Clemens, right?
Yes, he had an impression on me, and he gravitated to me, and he said, "You the best player on this team, and we're not going to win if you don't perform." And that's what clicked with me.
Right.
These guys depend on me, and when a guy tell you that, you're going to give him your all.
Yeah. That series was that World Series. I mean, it's an all-time classic. Yeah. Like, do you still remember the nerves, the angst of Game 7?
Oh yeah, man. That was one of those games where it was nail biting time. And when Bobby Bonilla hit that home run, I knew we was going to win the game because we couldn't get over that hump for some reason that last game. And when he did that, now we felt like we was back in the game because anytime Moore tell you, when you hit in the middle of the lineup, when you coming up there to lead off an inning and you're down by 2, it's a different feeling than being down by 1. Absolutely. Because we can change the game now. But when he did that, I knew we was going to win. We had enough talent around us. And when things start bouncing our way, a couple errors on their end, and, when Renteria came up to hit, I knew the game was over because he's been clutch like that all his life.
Good player.
He's a great player.
You had that sick catch too. I don't remember, it was 3 or 4 in Cleveland where you put the hole in the wall. Like, do you remember? Do you still remember, Chad? That was pretty. You were like Spider-Man.
Well, Jim told me hit it, and when he swings the bat, it looked like the ball is going out every time he swings.
Right.
And so the first thing when it went up in the air, I said that ball is gone. And so I started drifting back, looking, and I said I may have a chance. That's when I kind of turned it on and found the wall, and that ball was coming down. And I said, if I make this play, this game over. And we scored a lot of runs that game, and so did they. It was a back and forth game, but I felt like defense had to be a major factor in a game like this.
Definitely did. It's Mo Vaughn Podcast, by the way, powered by the Vaughn Sports Academy and Perfect Game. We're live from the American Specialty Insurance tent. I'm curious about this. You ever think about if that team got to stick together? Could you paint into what that was all like? Because you guys was the first known fire sale. Boom, everybody was gone. Yeah. You were into the next year, and they ended up trading you for Piazza and that whole deal. But do you ever think about if they would have stuck together for a little bit, what that would have been, and maybe what that would have meant for baseball in South Florida?
Yeah, that stayed in my mind a lot, and especially when I kept getting traded after that, because I had a 4-year contract I just signed with them, and then I just signed a 7-year contract with them, and I didn't get to play 1 game on that contract. So I didn't have to be on 8 different teams. I could have stayed in Miami because I had a blanket no trade clause. I was just taking care of the other guys in the trade. That's why I accepted the trade. But I felt like Wayne Huizenga was the right man for the job as an owner. He was ahead of time. He wanted a team in Wiregrass, and he wanted to build Wayne's World, which is the Battery. They call the Battery now, which he was ahead of time. I felt like the Yankees wouldn't have been the Yankees if we would have stayed together. They wouldn't have all those championships. And I truly believe that. And that stayed in my brain for about 5 years, but I had to get over it quick and move on to my next teams and do the best for the team I was on.
Yeah, that's what. Well, it's one that sticks with me for a lot. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
Ben, it's all Marlins. He's
Yes.
dude, I'm telling you, like,
Marlins deep.
but that's it's kind of one of those crazy like what if fast because like you always think about like if the winter keeps going. You see with the Panthers down here right now, like they kept it going.
They're no joke.
No joke.
That's all.
It's no joke. Do you feel? I'm curious about this. You mentioned the football background, but when you see kids today at something like this, what do you think of today's player as far as like they seem so serious, man? Like these kids are locked in for something like this, and it's a whole tournament. They obviously got big dreams. What do you think about the way that it's development? And obviously you're doing it with kids too. Like, what's the best path? What do you think of this? Because I'm sure they get pulled in a lot of different directions.
Well, the sad part about it is that they're discouraging them from playing all the sports. And I think you can gain so much for playing other sports, strength, endurance, all kinds of different things in all kinds of different ways. These kids are so under the gun for having to do everything right, having to be perfect. And if you're not that top player, you don't play. How can you develop if you don't play? They always want to play on the best team. All that. I tell my kids, I don't want you on the best team. I want you playing against them because I want the competition. I want you to go through something. And when you go through something early, later on, it'll pan out. And that's what I always tell kids.
I think the biggest thing that we understand is in this environment that we're in right now, which we think is great and we know it's great, perfect game doing what we know how to do. There still has to be a structure.
Yes.
You have to get your work in. You got to understand how to prepare. Greatness comes through preparation.
Yes.
And we have to teach that to our sons and parents and teams. It's not about going out and playing every day. We got to be in a situation where you're learning how to do things right and then get on the field. And hopefully, you grow a little bit, you're strong and you keep going and you have the ability to keep playing. But what a process it is.
Yeah.
What this journey's like. When you go to Seattle and you see Mount Rainier?
Yes.
And it looks so close to you.
That's right.
But on the ground, how far?
Oh, I know. Just try to walk through it.
Yeah, try to walk through it. That's what the baseball journey is. Even for these kids right now that are 2026, their journey is so long, and you have to be mentally tough and ready to go and be able to handle adversity and know yourself. And we're lucky. We got sons, but we got some experience that can help them.
That's right.
Do you teach your son the non-striking out thing? Is that still in the Sheffield household? It must, because kids today can strike out a gazillion times. It seems like it doesn't matter. So what do you go at it with hey, this is today's game, or do you still teach in the Sheffield house we don't strike out?
Well, I teach the way I teach, and I teach line drives because the power is the last thing to come. And I always tell my kids, hit the ball where it's pitched.
Amen.
Look up in the zone, look fastball. You always can, if you look up, you always can work down. If you look down, you're going to chase balls in the dirt and you're not going to be able to handle up. So if you look up, you can handle more pitches than looking down. So I try to teach those little things. But when they get on the field and the coach is looking for home runs because they know they're good players and then they buy into it, these kids are different. These kids, this generation is different. They whatever the coaches tell them, whatever the people tell them, they go try to be that. But always when we get home, I don't say nothing in the car. I don't say nothing in the ride. I wait till they bring it to me. Right. Then I tell them, I put my 2 cents back in it. I say, I taught you this way. You went out and played another way. It didn't work out for you. Let's get back in the lab and let's get back to work. And that's what I do with my kids. And now that my son Noah's in college, they have a certain way to teach him how to hit. And I watched him his first day. He was almost falling down trying to hit the ball out the park. That ain't what I taught. But if you want to stay there and you want to be part of it, you have to comply with what they teach you.
Or at least say, at least act like you're listening, but go back to what you do.
How do you mold the like that?
Like I know, and it's so hard, right? Like, talking hitting, people talk about the launch angle. I know Gary doing this. Gary hit down on top of the ball.
Yeah.
You know, I always say the barrel is level to the ball, to the height of the ball, the plane of the ball.
Yes.
It's down is down. If it's up, it's up.
Right.
We're not swinging up. If we make contact through the ball, bang, we hit it. Then there's extension after it.
That's right.
That's when the launch angle happens.
Yes.
Not before.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we got to always try to stay in line with ours.
That's right.
And what we're trying to do and teach them. We know what we know what we're doing.
Yeah, because
we know how to
Mo, you know, if somebody's throwing 100 miles an hour, your hands, you can't be wasted movement.
No.
You got to go directly to the baseball, and your hands have to be past that ball for your barrel to be on time. If your hands are not there when that ball get there, that ball is gone.
Right.
And so this is why the launch angle is a dangerous proposition for these kids. And that's why I say it's not these kids' fault. This is what they've been taught. There's a reason why 4 guys hit 300 this year, and almost 46 hit 300 when we play. There's a reason. Now they're saying,
and it's not because of velocity.
Right.
It's because of style.
It's
not because of velocity.
I'm so glad you said
Everybody's like, oh, everybody throws 100. We got to get the barrel out here.
Nah.
The contact point is inside, you know, inside your body. When you start reaching and getting out in front because you think it's harder.
Yes.
That's when things go wrong.
Yes. And makes you go left.
Exactly.
Or if you're left hand hitter, it makes you go right. So the thing is that when guys came up in our era that threw harder than most, we punished those guys because they thought they could just beat you with fastballs.
Right.
The thing about baseball is that you can make it a simple game, but when you put all the sabermetrics in it and eliminate the old school, then these young kids suffer. Because if you give us the sabermetric, which is old school, we put it together, we can create magic.
We put it together with what we know.
Yes.
Take out certain data points that help us.
Yes.
But the bottom line is you got to be staying behind the ball, hitting through the ball.
That's right.
With extension after contact.
Yes.
And hitting the ball where it's pitched.
That's it.
I don't know if you're in I hear that people talk about, well, RBIs are important. Hitting with men in scoring position are important. How'd you win the World Series? Timely hitting with 2 outs.
That's right. A dribbler, pass the pitcher, shortstop, second baseman can get to it, and we win the World Series.
Get the guy over.
But here's the contradiction. What Major League Baseball has done, and I watch it carefully when it comes playoff time. I don't watch baseball during the regular season because it's going to be a bunch of strikeout and a bunch of guys not getting a guy in from third base. But come playoff time, the teams that play the small ball and play correctly always win.
Chicago.
Good pitching, defense, and timely hitting. And that's when RBIs become important again.
Toronto's probably the least strikeout tight team in the league. Look at what's happening.
Exactly.
And it all, they all work with analytics, but it can't be the end all, be all. No. Play with your sight.
That's right. And that's why I think that they're talking about what sabermetrics is telling them. This is sustainable for 162 games, but come playoff, you have to play this way. Well, now you're teaching the kids 2 different things and 2 different ways to play the game. So that's a contradiction.
Playoff, we're facing the number 1, number 2.
Yeah.
Specialized guys coming out of the bullpen right in the 5th inning, trying to shut you down.
Yeah.
You have to know how to. Somebody said to me, Mo, the reason why you had a chance when you played was because you had all the golf clubs in your bag. It's not just one swing.
It's not.
It's here.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
You got to be able to do all of it.
You got 15 different swings. I swing whatever that pitch is, whatever I need to do to get that ball in play and get the job done. That's what that swing requires. Not a launch angle swing on a ball down in the way with 2 strikes, 3-2 count, bases loaded. I can't leave it up to the umpire to make that call. I got to put that ball in play and try to get a hit.
Did you have a go-to process? Like, what was your comfort zone whenever you were in a slump? Like, was there something that was a go-to for you in your playing career? Tee time, back hit. What was the thing that worked for you?
Well, Tony Gwynn taught me in 1992, the tee is your best friend because it teaches you how to hit 0-0 count. It teaches you how to hit with 2 strikes. It teaches you how to hit no matter what because you can place the tee wherever you want. Now, that's why I was a 333 hitter with 2 strikes. And a lot of times when I was on a team, that was like, well, how do you make that hard of a contact with 2 strikes? You down 2-0, and then all of a sudden you still make contact. Because what I do is,
Ground,
just put your shoe on the ground, shorten up,
and punch it.
that's it.
And it's faster than your other swings.
There you go. It's the best swing going.
Exactly.
Let that ball come in. You don't jump out there because he may throw you a breaking ball. And then when anything that's loopy, it's the secondary.
Right.
But anything straight, I let that ball travel and I just hit it where it's
Just punch.
That's it. I'm curious because, like, when you guys, going up against a pitcher in a game, like, I gotta imagine that's even frustrating. Like, maybe you didn't get him with the bomb the first time,
right.
but like, he doesn't know weaknesses yet. Like, you haven't shown anything to him that could get to you. So, like, what is the importance of like a mental edge of that during a game?
The mental edge of hitting is just like the pitcher is trying to get the mental edge on you, because he can't show us every pitch he has our first at bat, and we can't show him our A swing every time. So we have to play the game. We're playing chess right now. So he may throw me a ball away, and I may have a man on third base and it's one out. My only thought process is hit a ground ball, get this RBI. I'll get you later, and it's going to wind up with 3 or 4 RBI. And that's the game that we play. So he think I can throw that same pitch down and away, and he's going to go for it. And I wind up getting him behind an account where he has to come to me, and I wind up hitting him out the park.
It's a cat and when you're hitting, and I tell people all the time, when we talk hitting, we actually talk a different style of hitting, because our last two at bats for our entire career were versus the right-handed guy coming out of the bullpen in the 7th inning, and then we got Trevor Hoffman over there, the closer, going in. So we have a different mindset than most, because we're thinking of what the score of the game is, what the size of the field is, how hard's he throwing, where's the wind blowing, and figure out what we got to do to strike and help our team.
That's right.
Not everybody got to do that.
That's right.
And that's the difference of what we're talking about, and why you got such greatness.
Well, that's why the game will slow down, because I hit to the scoreboard. Whatever the scoreboard told me to do, that's what I did. So if I'm losing by 3, why am I trying to go up here and hit a home run? I'm trying to work the count, wear him down. By the time I get on base, my next guy get on base, we get a home run from our 6th place hitter. Now the game is tied. Now my mentality changed, because now when I come up here in the tie game, I'm going to win this game. And that's the thought process. If I don't win it with a home run, I'm winning it with a double or single or whatever it takes.
Hit to the scoreboard. That's my new profound statement.
Yes.
That I was just talking to my guys.
He's on the team
today.
Yes.
Guys, we're down by 1. My left-handed hitters are all looking to pull.
Yes.
You think it's going to let you beat you inside?
No.
You got to understand the situation.
Right.
Hit to the scoreboard. I got it now.
That's right.
How much do you like tournaments like this WWBA? Like just the experience of it all? Do you like just the atmosphere or something like this?
I love
what it does for these players.
Yeah, I love the atmosphere. I love the excitement on these kids. And I know when Mo walk around, they mob him. And when I walk around, it's the same. Guys want to talk to you, get information. And it's almost like I don't want to, overindulge over the coaches and do things that they don't want us to do. But when kids pull me aside and want to talk to me about hitting, about my approach, I tell them, don't show up to the park an hour early to play a baseball game. You got to get here. You already got to have your stretching in, your hitting in when you get out here, you're fed. Then all of a sudden, you done so much work. By the time the team get here and you do what they do, you've done more.
Yeah.
And then when the game start, you're not playing catch up. Right. You're already ahead.
Gary Sheffield, this has been a real thrill. Hey, by the way, before we get you out of here, if you did get the call for the Hall of Fame, what cap you wearing? You don't got to kiss my ass on it either.
I can't reveal that right now.
Look, man, this has been tremendous. And I know we could sit here and talk for a whole hour on the game.
Yes.
And that's because of our love for it and the information that we have. Good luck to you. Good luck to your sons and your family. And thank you for being here. And let's stay in touch.
Yeah, anytime, Mo. Love it, bro. Appreciate you, man.
This has been the Mo Vaughn Podcast, powered by Perfect Game and the Vaughn Sports Academy. We'll talk to you guys next time.